What do you know about H-1Bs?
I have a lot of like younger family members, like millennials that are on those right now that have come from India. But
okay.
I don't really know like specifics or anything. I just kind of hear my parents talking about it.
Okay. And what kinds of things are they doing? Think about the United States and think about computers and software development, Microsoft, Google, AI right now, robot, everything that is the tech revolution in the United States.
Yeah.
Who built that?
I don't really have an answer for that.
Well, who do you think? Go back to Silicon Valley and look around. What do people look like? He's going to you want to stay here. You want to go to the U.S. because that's who's going to pay you more. But that's not true anymore, man. Chinese companies are starting to, they're competing at a new level, y'all. And this H-1B issue, this is the secret weapon of the United States. You guys got that?
So our immigration policy also needs to solve climate change and determine how AI impacts the job market.
Yeah, make sure you guys take account of that, all right? How would you decide how many workers we need? How many who do you think we should let in the country?
I don't know if I have like an educated answer for that. I don't really know much about
Well, who do you imagine?
what.
Did your parents go to college?
Yeah, both my parents have their masters.
And did they come here with master's degrees?
Yeah, and then my dad got a second one when he was here.
Okay, and so did that help them to get in?
Yeah, because they came here
hold the mic close.
They came here on work visas, so they already were set up and stuff.
And then they applied for green cards, and residency, and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you were born here?
Yeah, I was born in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Okay, let's imagine you're in control. Who do you want?
I guess people that will contribute positively to whatever jobs that they might want to do. I don't know, I guess if we have a shortage of a certain type of worker or job or whatever, then we would want people coming in that would be good at that job.
So you ever hear of what do you know about nurses from the Philippines?
That they're really good at their jobs.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a pipeline of young women from the Philippines and nursing. You heard that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Huh. How about H-1B visas? What do you know about H-1Bs?
I have a lot of younger family members, millennials that are on those right now that have come from India. But I don't really know specifics or anything. I just kind of hear my parents talking about it. And,
Okay. And what kinds of things are they doing?
A lot of software and engineering and just boring computers. I don't know. That's why I don't really know much about it. It's not
You ever been to Silicon Valley?
Yeah, I have family in Silicon Valley.
Okay, and when you go around Silicon Valley, what's the majority of people look like me or look like you?
Like me. Yeah. I guess it's not that surprising. Both my parents are in IT and stuff, so most of my family is. It's not that surprising. A lot of my Indian friends are in CS and engineering, and that's just kind of what I know.
Okay, and are they smart?
Yeah.
Their families push math and.
Yeah, I was I can't relate to that. I'm a sociology major, so that's definitely not my thing. Right. But for I guess my other family, pretty much everyone's in STEM except for me and my brother. So
think about the United States and think about computers and software development, Microsoft, Google, AI right now, robot, everything that is the tech revolution in the United States.
Yeah.
Who built that?
I don't really have an answer for that.
Well, who do you think? Go back to Silicon Valley and look around. What do people look like?
There's a lot of Indian people.
Lots of people from outside the U.S.
Yeah. There's a lot of first and second generation immigrants.
Okay, and H-1B visas, how important do you think they were?
Pretty important.
Why?
I'm pretty
Explain to the class as best you can, your relatives who are coming here on H-1Bs, what are they? Explain to them why that's important.
Well, I know an H-1B visa is a work visa, and I don't know if this is how it works or if it's just a coincidence with my family, but they're all in software or engineering or some type of IT work.
And they're smart.
Yeah, like incredibly smart.
Okay, and the like really smart Indians.
Yes.
And really not so smart Indians, where are they? Are they getting H-1Bs?
No.
Okay.
It's like really hard to get one.
Okay,
from what I've seen.
You got to be talented.
Yeah.
See, this is like the people like say that like people make statements like Mexicans are such hard workers, and I'm like, no, I've been to Mexico, man. There's a lot of Mexicans that don't work very hard. They're all in Mexico. The hard workers, they come here. H-1Bs. Okay?
Yeah.
Same thing. They're hard to get. They're not going to the dumb people. They're going to wealthy people because businesses pay money for them, right?
Yeah.
And now Donald Trump just raised the price of the H-1B. It used to be like $2,000. Now they wanted to raise it to $100,000. You know,
yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I think that's kind of insane because, like, who has $100,000? Like,
what business does?
Well, yeah, but it's just like it's going to make it even harder than it already is to get those.
But why do you want those? Because see, people out here are saying like, yeah, but we don't want those workers here. So the issue is they're thinking, well, but they're going to take these engineers and computer science majors. So they're going to your family members who are coming over here on H-1Bs are going to take our jobs.
I don't think that companies would be wanting so many people to come here on H-1Bs through their company if they didn't want smarter people than that they have. Like, I don't know.
Dude, oh my God. She said it, right? She said it. Dudes, you know, here, let me show you. Go to the next slide. Best and worst at math. Look where the U.S. is. And you know what holds us up? You want to know why we're not at the bottom? You know why we're not like in the purple?
Because of immigrants.
Dude, because of your fan, not from you, by the way, because you're a sociologist. But it's like, well, how are you at math?
God awful.
That's why your parents let you major in sociology, right?
They knew.
So here's the problem. How do you think Silicon Valley happened? You got a bunch of Americans who don't like math. And not only do you not like math, but like you don't have to really work at math. You don't have to go to cram school. You don't have to go, you know what I mean? Like Koreans, we'll talk about this, but you know, in China, Korea, India, you go to school all day long, and then after school, you go to an academy and you just get more and more crammed into you, more math. You're not good at math, but then you're going to have to go on Saturdays and Sundays and study math, and you just do it again and again and again. And so your scores are really high. I mean, that's kind of what it is. But here we don't have that. Immigrants built that, man. You know what I mean? I get some of you guys, you know, you're here, you do. Some of you are in engineering and comp sci and you're really, really smart, okay? You're really smart. But everybody else, Sadhana and we can go to India and we can pick out the smartest. You got 1.4 billion people in India. Trust me, we will find 10 really brilliant people for every one of you who's really brilliant. We'll find them. Pick out the most brilliant in here, we'll find 10 in India. So we'll bring them over. It's like, that's how it works, man. That's how it works. Silicon Valley got built on the backs of immigrant labor, man. The smartest of the smart. Which means that we poached. Think of how if all these Indians, all these Chinese, all these Koreans, all these people, if they had stayed home and contributed to their own, building their own economy. Like right now, lots of Chinese aren't even coming here because China's in a tech boom right now. And we used to be able to bring all these Chinese workers over and they're not coming. Or like some of you who are Chinese, bro, are you guys engineering majors? Wait, hang on. Do you want to stay here or you want to go back to China?
Well, stay here. My parents immigrated here and I was born here, so.
Okay, all right, okay. How about you? You want to?
Whoever pays me more. Dude,
okay, got it. And in the past, he's gonna be here. He's going to you want to stay here. You want to go to the U.S. because that's who's going to pay you more. But that's not true anymore, man. Chinese companies are starting to, they're competing at a new level, y'all. And this H-1B issue, this is the secret weapon of the United States. Yeah, secret weapon. How is that, man?
I don't know. Again, I don't really have any experience with it, personally, because it was, my mom was pregnant with me when they came here on H-1Bs, and, I know that they did struggle with, visa issues and stuff when I was a lot younger, but it's not really something that they talked about, I guess just not to worry me and my brother, but, yeah, there was never any, discussion of... Until it was time for green cards and stuff, because I was born here, but my older brother was born in India.
Yeah.
And so when it came time for green cards and stuff, that was a huge discussion, just because there was a lot that he needed to do.
Yep. But your parents have that tech background. That's how how they got here.
Both of them have masters in I think computer science. Yeah, something like that. And then my dad got a second master's in something CS related when I was 4.
The other issue with the economy is, okay, so let's say, it's too many immigrants. We gotta we have to patrol everything. Whether we're gonna build a fence, or we gotta hire ICE, or we gotta hire La Migra, or we gotta hire people. It costs a lot of money, man.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but I remember seeing an article that a bunch of ICE agents got huge bonuses and stuff, which I imagine is. And collectively a lot of money.
Well, yeah, because you're not going to be able to get people to do. First off, there's a lot of communities in the United States that are really struggling. Here, I got one for you. Ford they just closed down a plant that makes batteries for F-150 trucks. With that, our government decided we're not going to invest in battery-powered automobiles, right? We're not doing that. Okay, well, all those people need jobs, man. They were making between $35 and $40 an hour. So, ICE is hiring. So you go work for ICE. It's complicated, right?
Yeah, very complicated.
So we want unskilled workers who are going to be willing to do things that other people don't want to do. And you can say, hey, man, you're going to have to go out and pick onions. You don't want to pick onions? That's the only job available to you. Go pick the effing onions, right? And this is what happens. So it's the farmers are yeah, okay, we'll pay you to pick onions. We'll even triple your wages. We'll pay you $20. And there are so many examples of that. And Americans are still onions. I'll eat onions. Wait, you want me to pick onions? And the issue is that if you're living in a place where you grow up, it's not because people are lazy. It's because when you live in a place where you grow up, you always have someone who can take care of you somehow. You have family. I can go live with my grandmother. I don't have a job, but I can live with my grandmother. I'm not going to go pick onions in the hot sun in Florida. Are you kidding me? So you're going to do something to get by, and it's easier to get by.
On this next slide, how come Africa and some Middle Eastern countries are grayed out?
Because we just don't have data for them on this particular test.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. Saudi's up there, though. You're purple, too. Dude, wait. Saudis, what's up with that? You're purple.
Going back to the discussion about the H-1B increasing the petition, how much you have to pay for the petition. So there was actually a clarification on that where immigrants from outside of the country, when initially applying for the petition, the companies have to pay $100,000 for them. However, if it's a change of status, so this is people already in the US, they would not have to pay the $100,000. So could you share your thoughts on that?
The White House, or the politicians in Washington, they started getting pushback from business people going dude, are you nuts? You know what I mean? Do you know how much these visas keep this economy going? Right? So that's that.
And I do want to add, that correction, that amendment was made within 24 to 48 hours of the initial.
Well, listen, man, for all you Trump dislikers out there, I'm not going to say haters. The cool thing about Trump is he keeps shining your toes, man. He just speaks from the hip, like boom, boom, boom. Trav said, how much will AI impact the conversation around immigration jobs? Hugely. Just like birth, AI is a huge issue, robotics, AI, et cetera. Because AI is about two things. It's about reproducing, it's artificial intelligence. It's reproducing our brains and it's reproducing our bodies. So it's people who are able to code robots and make robots reproduce our bodies. So I can have a robot that I can, easily, like I could easily reach down and take that name tag off of your shirt. A robot do that. So we get better at programming them. So that's what AI is. If citizens are already losing jobs, how can we immigrate people in without further damage? Well, this is the problem. It's a very complex thing. And you hear what Trav just said? That his comment's really important for the two of you, what he wrote. Because if we're already losing jobs, if the job market is being disrupted, then we also need to be thinking about, do we raise the number of immigrants? Do we decrease the number of immigrants? We're doing the whole thing, man. This is why it's complicated.
I think the problem with AI and jobs and immigration, it's not immigration that should be the issue, it should be the AI. I think that's a huge problem that our government needs to really figure out. Obviously that's really complicated because it's evolving every day, and I don't know, I don't know that much about AI, but I know that I think if AI is taking our jobs, then I don't think we should be decreasing the number of people that need the jobs. I think we should be stopping AI from taking our jobs.
It's going to create jobs. So you just find this balance. Yeah. We're in a very dynamic world.
I guess it is also a two-sided thing, because it's okay, what jobs are AI taking? It's coding jobs, but then who's making the AI? It's people that I don't know. I think there's a lot of because I know a lot of people like my dad, but then also people my age that are getting AI certificates and learning how to work with that and learning how to make artificial intelligence. There's people that I know from back home that work with AI and stuff, and it's I don't know. I think there's just a lot of different factors that I'm not really too sure on.
Yeah, but that's good. But you're thinking out loud.
But it is a conversation that needs to be had.
Dude, it's awesome. You guys got that?
So our immigration policy also needs to solve climate change and determine how AI impacts the job market.
Yeah, make sure you guys take account of that, all right?